really disappointing for me, sort of personally, and upsetting just in general, because I think Jamal Bowman is one of our better congressmen in the House, and I don't expect that much less from the statewide Democrats, who apparently, because of the enormous amount of money that AIPAC dumps into New York State politicians, including Mondaire Jones and Hakeem Jeffries, most of them have come out, and Mondaire Jones apparently very strongly came out, and they're doing some type of press conference today, I think, claiming that Jamal Bowman is upsetting Jamal Bowman's Jewish constituents.
This is the quote, and it was in the New York Times. Jones accused Bowman of, quote, causing pain and anxiety among his Jewish constituents with his rhetoric criticizing Israel, which is just a real low. Because, honestly, Mondaire Jones, I don't know if this is just like bitter pills or whatever, but he was the victim of Sean Patrick Maloney's incredibly anti-progressive redistricting, right? If people recall, I guess it was the Democratic Party, but Sean Patrick Maloney, who was the head of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee at the time, decided, I'm going to go to Mondaire Jones's district and run in New York 17 because it's an easier path for a Democrat to win. So Mondaire Jones was screwed, right? And he said, maybe I'll go run in Jamal Bowman's district. But he didn't end up doing that. He ran in New York 10, split the progressive vote. Yulee New lost very, very slightly. And then Dan Goldman got elected. So this is just a pattern for Mondaire Jones torpedoing progressive candidates of color as well from or at least throwing a wrench in it on behalf of the Democratic establishment. And that's not something that, a reputation of progressive should be creating for himself.
Number one contributor is JPAC, or J Street, sorry.
Is J Street?
Of Mondaire.
J Street?
PAC.
The thing I will say about Mondaire Jones is that I think, he came in as a progressive, as sort of like a squad adjacent. But if you look, there was a transition in the run up to the Build Back Better thing. I mean, I don't want to go through this whole thing, but maybe I will at another time. But Mondaire Jones, if you look early in that year, was saying we can't split these bills because we'll lose the leverage on the Build Back Better. Remember, Sinema and Manchin wanted to split the bills, and Mondaire Jones was saying in the House, you cannot do it, you cannot do it, cannot do it. And then by the fall, not only was it you cannot do it, he was actually actively criticizing Bowman for voting against the splitting of the bills. And he was out in front doing that, and that's when I started to get a little suspicious about where this guy was going. And so I think, you can, he can pretend that this is about Israel, because there's still, a significant portion of Bowman's constituency are Jews. But keep in mind, 51% of Jews, according to the most recent poll, support Biden's conditioning of military sales to Israel not going into Rafah. So, I mean, this is, it's both offensive that Mondaire Jones is talking about this, but I also think it's a red herring. This is a function of them wanting to get a more conservative Democrat in there. This guy, Latimer, who is, here's just a quote. This is from May 30th, 2024, Jonathan Weissman, the lead. George Latimer, Westchester County New York executive, in a pitched Democratic fight with Representative Jamal Bowman, signaled his centrism isn't just a fight with the Democratic left. He could also be a thorn in President Biden's side if both men are elected. He told Westchester County newspaper he was not signing on to raising taxes on the wealthy, as Mr. Biden wants. On top of which, this is a guy who has now, in violation of the law, not released his finances.
His disclosure form, it was due 30 days, I guess, after he basically formally qualified as a candidate, and that was in December.
And Latimer also, on top of which you'll recall, we played audio of him on a radio show saying the only reason why Jamal Bowman won was because, black people were really agitated because of the George Floyd killing. And that it was, all the shenanigans with mail-in ballots.
Right. And he had a quote in that Times article, which I'll just read here because I don't have time to send it to you, Bradley. But at the bottom of that Times article, in which the quote by Mondaire Jones was printed, where he basically said that he's causing pain for Jewish constituents, Jamal Bowman is. Latimer, who is white, said he hoped Mr. Jones's endorsement would put to bed charges that he has used racist tropes as he seeks to cast Mr. Bowman as an attention-seeking distraction in Congress. The quote is, "The argument about me running a racist campaign falls flat on its face when people who are African American, Latino, and Asian are supporting me," he said in an interview. A spokesman for Mr. Bowman declined to comment. This is, yeah. So he's not racist, put to bed, because he has people of color endorsing him. And
he's got J Street's Mondaire Jones on his team. So
is it J Street or AIPAC?
It says J Street PAC.
But he also gets to AIPAC donations as well.
If you are anywhere within the New York area, Westchester County, anywhere around there, you have an opportunity to help out Jamal Bowman. We were going to put a link in the podcast and YouTube descriptions. I can't find that link now where I sent it to you, Bradley, but it is an opportunity for you to go and do some canvassing on the weekend of June 21st, is it, or 22nd?
22nd
and 23rd. And we will send you that link. There's also, I think, opportunities to actually attend this from out of town. So go and check it out. It is a New York canvassing event in Yonkers. Really important to get out the vote, because I don't think there's a race in the country that has gotten more AIPAC money thrown in to get rid of Jamal Bowman than the attempts to get rid of Bowman. And it is not just about Jamal Bowman. It is also about AIPAC trying to send a message.
Yep.
And they've bought Mondaire Jones. They have bought, decent number of the New York State Democratic establishment. And you got to help out Jamal Bowman to tell them you can't buy this district.
Yeah, I just want to shout out DSA, who I know had a contentious debate, but overwhelmingly voted to re-endorse Bowman and in this primary for exactly those reasons of what it means larger, not only because Bowman's been good on this relative to other Congresspeople, but just because of the constellation lining up against him.
So this is a really important race. Obviously, if you can donate to Bowman's campaign, do that. But this is one of those situations where, knocking on people's doors is going to make all the difference in the world. Who knows? A New York State primary, they hold it in June. I think the primary dates are June 25th. I mean, you can actually vote early right now.
Early voting it starts June 15th in New York, I believe.
Early voting does, but you can actually order an absentee ballot without any issues.
Be a great knock on the New York establishment.
This would be a great win. And, AOC has obviously endorsed Jamal Bowman because this is a slam dunk. If you're a progressive lawmaker or it's really, really, look, I don't think Mondaire Jones has a primary challenger or challenge. Obviously, I want a Democrat to beat Mike Lawler. We need to pick up House seats, but this is disgusting. And it really is. It's disgusting.
That's what Cori Bush said. She said, quotes, "It's disgusting, summarily, incredibly disappointing, appalled," says Barbara Lee, and then AOC also called it out. So if you're on the left or identify
also
as a
clarifying.
progressive, this is very clarifying.
Yeah.
Listen, you can also, being told by Penny in New Mexico, you can phone bank for Jamal Bowman too, and we'll put these on the list. Working family parties or Jews for Jamal. So we will put those links in there too. Folks, we won't be making a pitch for membership today on the show. Much rather you take 10 minutes, half an hour, donate $10 to Bowman, take an hour, do some phone banking, or go and canvass. I'm trying to work out how I can get up there, but it's Saul's graduation weekend, and Mila's got to be taken to camp. And but if you have the opportunity to go and canvass, particularly if you're in that area, very, very important. Very important. This is the way that votes are actually. You can put ads on the thing. People aren't paying that much attention to primary elections, but the bottom line is, if you can go out and convince people to go out and vote, this would be it's an important election for Bowman. Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.